Yo, what's up, everybody? Thanks you. Welcome back to the stream, and we're gonna get into um, some of this live painting, a new piece that I have. I'm going to be doing the grasslands tonight from FF7 Rebirth. Did my own little landscape with a couple windmills. It's a kind of little 9 by 12 piece. So we'll get to that here in a couple minutes. But I want to talk a couple of few things here. Um, I'm gonna end up changing my stream to Friday nights, so Tuesday nights and Friday nights. I barely had enough time to get going today, as far as something in my hair. Far as getting prepared for this next stream, getting things sketched out, everything else needed to get done today and last night before today. So we're gonna start Tuesdays and Friday nights now. So let's just I'll set the schedule here after the stream, and we'll get that going. But I want to also that gives me more time to prepare as far as I want to talk about some of the FFF artists. I just haven't got time to do that. So we will get that started here soon. It's need a lot of research on certain artists and what they contributed to FF7 Rebirth, and I wanted to be able to implement um, talking about them and their style, um, incorporate that into one of my pieces, and we can talk about some of that. And I think that would be a really cool idea to implement into as we're creating live painting, talk about those kinds of artists. So, anyways, let's get right into the live painting. I know I did on Thursday night. This seemed to be like a better stream. I don't need to be blabbering any more than I have to. So let's get to it. Here we go. Let's get to the live scene here. So I have some reference photos. I wanted to get some kind of reference photos for the sky and whatnot. So we will be working on the sky first and getting that put down and laid down. By having a couple reference photos, it really helps me to have a starting point, right? At least for the background, and I can put some of those, darker, some darker foreground elements and stuff like that. But I wanted to um, kind of move around as I get the after I get the sky down, move around foreground, midground, and kind of see where I want to lay my values and stuff, not and whatnot. So right now we're gonna work on the background. This may take this could be quick, or this could be a couple of streams. So I'm probably gonna do like a quick kind of um, put down color in areas, and so this is a lot quicker than just working on every little detail and stuff. So just kind of get this atmospheric perspective, get that kind of nailed down, and work my way forward to the foreground. So, anyways, let's get started. So, let's go at the very top, because that'll be our darkest part of the sky, right? So, um, let's go with the dark part of the sky. Let's start up in here, work my way. Probably the darkest part is probably going to be up in this right corner, maybe. So we'll go up in this right corner, and we'll just start adding and going from there. So, um, so it may end up being our lightest part. Yeah, so our darkest part. Yeah, may end up being up in this corner. So I can add. So I'm gonna use my little pinky guy, because I'm not using the tools I used yesterday. So this is a whole other way I do this. So, which I haven't done in a couple weeks. So that I like, you get a nice blend of these colors. So we'll get these colors in really well, and we'll go from there. And we keep adding layers on top of to kind of transition these blues and other colors together and whatnot. So thinking about having the lightest colors in the background here, and going from this is the lightest part of the background is behind the windmills and stuff like that. I'm thinking about going that direction. So and then like this right here be, you know, not as light, but sort of like, you know, sort of like this one over here, this photo here at the very bottom, kind of like that, right? So it's see where the light's coming from, like over Aerith's head. I want to do like that area to be behind here in some way. So maybe this area kind of sticks out a little bit more. And I think that'll look good, especially that'll kind of help us darken some of this horizon line down here and not be so bright. Or we could have the light over here and let this be the darker area. So it depends on what we want to do, right? This having it over here means a lighter area, and then I think bringing it over here, we'll start having these areas be a little bit lighter, the grasslands and all that stuff. So I don't know what I want to do yet. I just now decided what did I want to do with that. So let's see here. Now, I think it'd be cool. See, I don't know if it can make it work better if the light is on the right side over here. So I'm not sure yet. I'd say we kind of wing it and go with it, I guess. So, but either way, both of these sides are going to have like a dark area to them in some way in the sky. So we're going to go in as best we can with that. And we're going to do a sky kind of going down to this little tiny point, right? This is the furthest point in the whole entire piece, like pushing back, right? And I want to, and this is like as a point of perspective, this will be the point, and it comes out as a grid this way. So, yes, I do have this little guy here, but he's still like within that small point. You know, even though it's just the smallest point down here, back here, this one can still be small because it is farther away. So, I kind of maybe got lost in all that perspective talk. But anyways, I want to make the sky come from a different direction, like swooping in or moving, like it's moving in some way. So that'll be like kind of the movement in the piece too. So I have some idea kind of how I want to do that. So, but we'll see how that kind of all goes. So look at my iPad over here, kind of getting reference a little bit of what I already have down on my digitally. So, anyways, so we're gonna come through here and keep adding some of this blue, right? So we're gonna keep doing this, figuring this out as we go. And I do have an electric eraser, so if you're hearing some weird stuff, electric erasers do work really damn well. So it does take some of the texture paper off. So sometimes I have it using now, like my kneaded eraser, my little squishy eraser. So it really helps to sometimes helps better to get her to take away certain stuff. I think I will go in here and real quick and we'll start drawing some clouds and empty spaces for some light areas real quick. And let's see what we got going on. That's kind of light, kind of not light. This is probably even darker. Yeah, so let's not even use that pencil. So we're gonna go in here and draw some outlines of some clouds. And I'm gonna go by my reference I have for my iPad real quick. And this will kind of give an idea of like where the perspective line kind of comes into all of this in some way. So you want to draw a couple clouds coming in. You can hardly see, guys. Sorry about that, but I'm just drawing lightly. I don't want to draw too hard with something I don't, we don't exactly know where things are going. It's just, but these are just little placeholders for certain stuff, for shapes of clouds. And I want to do it with a lighter color, so we're gonna do the lighter color. Sorry, I got some tea over here. Grab some tea real quick. that's good. All right. Okay, back to it. So just keep drawing some outline of these clouds. Do a couple down here. See, the clouds are going to get tinier as they come a lot tinier as they get closer to the horizon. So make tiny ones down here. There's gonna be a big one up here and a couple other ones back up in here. And you want to kind of take them, have them come in like in a direction where they're coming down. Right, coming down in some shapes, right down to the point of perspective, which is the farthest point in the piece. So, we will, and these are not permanent, right? So if it helps us to like come in here, we can erase a couple little ones, but yeah, all that's going to get covered up at some point, right? So, let's get tinier as we come in. And we'll figure out, maybe this doesn't quite work as well as we had hoped, so maybe we'll come in, we'll do something different. See, even these other pieces, especially this one right here, this one, see how there's like the horizon line, is where the point's at. So that's all the point. The point is the smallest point in the whole entire, like the smallest point in the whole entire piece, which is all the way back in the mountain area. See how the clouds are tinier, right? So that's because they're further away, so you just make things bigger as they come towards you. So that is for like kind of perspective. I mean, I don't always get that right. I mean, I do my best, but sometimes it's not easy. So, and some of these will, you won't end up keeping. We'll adjust and things like that. So, but just trying to get some kind of movement within the piece. So let's start coming alive here soon. So all right, so what do we got? So I'm gonna use this lighter blue, I think. This is a lighter blue. Could be wrong. I think I'm wrong. But I thought that was the lighter blue. So let's see what we got going on here. This is not exactly a blue, but it is lighter. So we will come in here and we start moving around this pastel as much as we can. And we're gonna have to find some. These colors are very specific, right? And using pastel, if you don't have that color, you might as well not work on the piece. You might as well not even do it because it's a thing, right? So with acrylic, you can just mix your colors, right? With pastels, you gotta have certain colors. And there's certain colors that will blend into other ones, but I feel that's very rare. In my cases, I usually have to use straight colors and then blend multiple of a gradient color into it to transition to like another color. So I'm very much using more than just one color for one area. I'm using like 6 different colors. And then I have the clouds too, so you have grays and other things like that. So it's a very intense thing sometimes thinking about all those colors you have to use. That's kind of why I've been doing a lot of like grayscale stuff lately, because I feel it's easier for me to grab all those different values from grayscale. So, and I haven't done color in a while because it's not easy. It's pretty intense. So, anyways, get back to it here. Let's see what we got here. We have like a color. It's like more like a green. It's much lighter though. We might be using that a little bit later. So, but let's start adding. Let's just keep adding some blues, things like that. We'll come in with some lighter colors, and we'll just keep adjusting as we go. So, wish I had this iPad closer to me, guys, somewhere else to put it, because it is kind of annoying being all the way to the left side. But do what I gotta do, man. Do what I have to do. So, do what I have to do. And let me know if you guys know of like Final Fantasy like type music um, that I could possibly use or allowed to use in some way. I don't know. I hear a lot of people using stuff during streams, but I don't know. I don't want to get like red flagged or whatever I gotta do. So, but anyways, let's see. Let's take. I don't want to bring this down too far because just far enough so I can start blending in some of these colors and blending in certain areas, transitioning them. So. Maybe kind of annoying, guys. The sound. I'm sorry. I didn't think about that when as I'm creating now. It's just kind of an annoying noise. So if you're not into that, sorry. Um, if you guys let me know your thoughts on what I'm doing and whatnot, because it could be so annoying that I may have to go back to my grayscale. So, but let me know as soon as you can, so I can adjust for that. So. And sometimes you can erase things, but when you're putting a darker color in somewhere, it's pretty permanent, right? You can always go over a little bit with other things and layer some stuff, but you can't always erase some perfectly. You can't erase what you have on paper. It's once it's in there, it just doesn't come out. So it's very particular about where my colors are going because it's really unforgiving. So this medium is so um, more so than the depending more so on the um, grayscale in some way too. Like I feel like I could race that a little bit more. But when you start digging into that black, you're really gonna have a problem. You got to know exactly where you want to put that black first, and grow on from there, or the background, right, from the lightest to the darkest. So, um, just keep that in mind if you're working on something. I always like to use light to dark, and then in some cases I will go foreground, like background, slightly foreground to adjust the colors the values I have in the background to adjust that once I have in the foreground, so I know okay, this is gonna be this dark, and okay, now I have an idea, and then I'll kind of go back and forth, kind of push and pull that light back and forth into exactly to know exactly where I go with it, and then I'll just keep pushing back, pushing forward. Okay, that light is too much. That's not intense enough. Um, and I really like my lighting in a lot of my pieces. It really by pushing back, pushing it forward, and trying to figure that out, you really get adding shadows. Yes, adding shadows super important, right? We talked about it last time. It really brings the depth. It really brings out a lot of things, and really helps to bring your piece like come alive. So, anyways, we'll get back to it. So. So, anyways, like talk about FF7. I did make it to a little more Gongaga area the other night, so I want to get through that. But there's a lot of questing. That place is huge in FF7, so it's like crazy how much they have to do in that world. So, um, so we'll see how far I get in tonight, or if I even play tonight. I've been doing a job hunt for a while now, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. So, applied for a couple places, or one place yesterday, and I just need to keep busting my ass doing that shit. So, I kind of almost need some white and some Marys, but I think not white yet. Um, this is the part that I struggle with sometimes. It's going, how far do I keep taking that color down here, and if to some degree, it works, but you can use other layers to overlap them, and but you're always a constant, pull and push to figure out how much of that background, that darkest background, do I use going down, and then how much do I keep pushing and blending that lighter color up, and I have to just transition it well to get a nice smooth background. So um, we're gonna use another color that's slightly lighter. It's like a bluish type color. I think it'll somewhat blend well. So we will use some of that. And see how that works out. I think it's slightly lighter. It's not like, but it's not straight blue. So we will. It's almost has like a gray tone to it in some way. But you can see even up here how this is already starting to blend a little bit, right? Just a little bit up here starting to blend and kind of take shape. So that's what we're kind of looking for, right? So we will go from there and keep going with it taking shape. So we'll get there, but I'm not gonna move on to the next part until I know that the background's where I want it and it looks good, and go from there. So it should be fun, guys. I haven't done any streaming on Twitch, and mostly just Instagram, and I'll get any feedback from there at all. So I'm hoping one day that you guys can like be okay. What do you want to see? What different kind of maybe like you want to see something from FF7 like remake or something like that. So that's a lot of structural stuff, which takes a lot of time with perspective and building that and things like that. But anything has perspective and composition and making that work. So Midgar and drawing some stuff like that will definitely be challenging for sure. So I think the less challenging part is for me is landscapes. It's what I'm doing, like the landscapes and stuff like that. So and I've been doing trees and just getting the skulls in the last year, since last year or June or so, and really improving on those too. So, but we'll see. Maybe you can do some characters also that are like FF7 related or like Cloud or somebody else, and have them like be like a skull underneath. Or I'm on my next project. I think after this project, we're gonna do Jenova in a skull form. So I'm hyped for that. So we'll see how that goes too. So right now we'll see where it takes us. So I think I have the AC on right, guys, with the heat actually. I think I might turn that off here in a sec. You know what? I think I'll do that now. So I'm not sure if you guys are hearing that or not. All right. Getting back to it. Yeah, I don't have any. I don't have any like my apartment's like a little studio apartment, so I don't have a lot of how many windows. So it's like it's kind of nice when we windows as far as like opening them up, but I have like 5-10 foot windows in here, so I can't open them up either. So there's not a lot of ventilation, things like that. So I want to still keep that downward motion, right? This is coming across too much. I want to keep more of that downward kind of motion of these clouds. So it's all right. I get a little bit of this in this here, but a little blue into my clouds. It's all right. I mean, sometimes that'll happen. You just have to go in and adjust, and and that's why sometimes I'm not pressing really hard either. So just kind of delicately, kind of putting stuff down in, because I'm not here to like just throw down tons of color. I mean, you have people that do this really fast too, and that's not me. I mean, I can do it somewhat fast, but I don't need to be just rushing it. So I want to take my time and put things in the colors in the right area, same values where they need to be, things like that. So. The problem having these little clips up here is I have to go back in and then I have to use those same colors to blend, especially if I don't have, if they're stacked and layered, then I have to figure out what I used, how many layers there are, and fill that in. So I might go ahead now and fill those in as much as I can, because um, if I don't, it's going to be a pain in the butt to fill in and fix. So let's go ahead and just fill that in now. At least with that, and I can come in with that maybe like another kind of layer later, and at least that'll be filled in with the first layer, and I can come in and just kind of equal it out with the lighter layers or other layers I use. So I usually have tape around the outsides of my pieces, so and then like covering all the edges on the outside about a quarter of an inch, and it helps to keep the piece like on the actual board. And it also helps with keeping it clean, right? I like that clean edge when you like sell a piece to somebody, to have this nice clean edge that they can use it to put a mat into and stuff like that. So but anyways, back to it. So it might take us a good while to get the sky where we want it. So but that's okay, right? We're moving, getting this done, moving on, having some fun. Right. So now we are going to see up there's nice blending up in here. Got a couple layers going on up in there. It's nice and thick. So it's kind of what we're looking for in some way. Some of the areas. So we can bring that down a little bit. Sometimes you don't want them thick. Sometimes you do. It depends what you're doing. And so now you're kind of seeing some of the clouds being formed up here, guys. So we're starting to get some formation. I think you can always add formations, add certain things if you want. So there's a couple of clouds down here, a couple clouds down here. All right. But hands get pretty almost more dirty than the black sometimes. I have to go in and go and wash my hands, especially if I'm like moving to another color, right? I don't want my dark to be in my blue, my darks to be in my lights to be in my darks. So it's mostly the other way around. You don't want your darks being in your lights, because then they could just ruin your piece, because it's going to be hard to cover up a dark area that's in the light area. So if you're doing like something that's like a person sticking over, sitting on a rock, staying on a rock, like over top of sky area, you also have to be somewhat darker because of the contrast. But you have to make sure you know what you're doing, what you're putting on where, and how dark you want them and how light you want them. Because you could have something like the rock is further behind him, so the rock would be darker than him. So, but you have to just think about those things. So, anyways, like, see this windmill here? I have a circle, like a sort of a semicircle here, oval. I did that so I would know what the round of it would kind of look like, and I could put the windmills things inside of that, and I would have that kind of certain size of the perspective. Same with this one over here. I gotta bring him down a little bit though. But that's so I had an idea how to make the perspective of the windmill, little wind things. So that's why I use the circle like that. So it won't be permanent like that, but that could definitely be erased and fixed. So, and then I can fill in my windmill things. I can't the fan parts. So, anyways. Keep blending. Sometimes this takes a little more time with the blend part. And we may go up here and add just a slight darker to that, depending on if that's the darkest we want to make that. And you'll have to like kind of judge it for yourself where exactly you start adding some of those colors into one of these over here. These little reference photos. Like some of these skies, you'll see like slightly darker, like almost like a darker blue. They're almost like a purple blue or a lightish bluer, light blue. So they're not maybe not quite the dark, the blue, the color that I have. So, um, so I might go in and overlap what I do have, and use a different, slightly different color. So, um, to go into that. So, and finding those certain other colors are are difficult compared to because what I'm using now isn't exactly the same. Um, so I could go in and start adding a different type of color. Usually I'm hunting for a while to find the colors that I need sometimes. So, um, so I may go in and look for something that's a slightly different type of color. But they don't have to be like exactly the same, right? So maybe I want them to be, and I'm like sitting here searching for colors I don't have. So um, sometimes it's better off just to to not worry about it too much. Let's see. Here's has a darker type color, but it is more of the color that's the sky. So we're gonna go with like almost like it's like almost like a bluish purple color. There's also this color that I have. It's like a purple color, which I might end up using more than this other color. So um, let's see what this looks like here. So then I can go back over because there is some of this color in it for sure. So, but it's more like a purple kind of color. Maybe erase some of the color you had. It's like I don't like that as much, like we're doing now, and maybe it's just, you still leave some of that, right? But you want to add a certain other color that you're finding. So um, I don't know if I even have like that type of color. I probably have something similar to that, but like I said, I'll be searching for it forever. Let's see, we got over here in these little box of pastels here. So let's see what we got. I don't have a bunch of lighter colors. I do have a bunch of lighter colors here for sure. There's a bunch of them in there, which might be the right type. But I have so many tiny little colors and little tiny pastels that I don't sometimes I don't know what I even have. So let's see where we can find. I think we're maybe looking for an impossible color, something that's just not going to exist. Um, maybe we'll see what this is real quick. Maybe a gray color. Yeah, it's gray. We can definitely use that at some point. But it's not the color we're looking for. That's another gray. This is, I'm not sure what color this is. Almost like, it's like a gray color, kind of, I guess. Might blend well with some of my, whoops, with some of my grays and clouds and stuff. So it's good to find those now while you can. Let's see, what's this? It's like another gray. That's like a bluish green color, it looks like. Could be wrong. What we got going on here? I don't know. Looks like a lightish blue, but sometimes they're not. You look at the pastels and they're not exactly what you think they are. You put them on paper and they're like, well, it's a lot darker than I thought it was. So it happens quite a bit. So I could that's not gonna help. I need like a lighter color. Let's see what we got going on here. Sorry, I thought I was a little more prepared, so I may have to go back over to my other easel, my bigger easel, to find a better color. So we'll see. Maybe not. Let's try this one out. This one looks slightly lighter. But this is more like down in here and stuff, I feel. So we'll see how far we get tonight. That's more like a darker gray color. Yes, it's a gray color. I don't want that. Maybe what we need is just a nice, some nice white and some other areas to kind of blend some stuff. But we won't wait for the background. We want too much. We want it to be dark enough so those clouds kind of come through, right? So, all right. Well, I'm just going to use this other lighter color. Come in here and get some of this stuff filled in. Then we can start working on other things. So I'll make sure that I keep some of these areas that I drew out. Now we're gonna need like the horizon line is right there. We will keep adding to that and doing the blue sky and things like that. So make that happen. I think this color is actually, I think this is what I need. So when I start, it has that kind of, some of that touch on it. So we'll see. Keep using it, keep using it. Let's see. I think that cloud up there is kind of big. I think I'm just gonna fill that in. There's a lot of negative space, which is nice. Separating some of these negative space the clouds are is good. So you gotta have your negative space, and you gotta have your fill in. You gotta have your other, keep it different. Keep it randomized. So nothing in the world is, nothing is perfect. It all has different things. Some not different, but different and random, and nothing is perfect. So we just have to do the best we can to copy that, to keep that in mind too. Not just in our piece, but in our lifestyle and who we are. So we try to make things perfect, and sometimes they just don't come out perfect. So, and I want perfection, and I'm not gonna get it. So I just had to realize that. And I can get it to where a certain degree I'm like, this came out, really good. And some pieces don't turn out great at all. So you can use all your spiffy tools and everything like that. And sometimes it just doesn't work. So, all right, so let's use a little bit of this kneaded eraser. Start carving out some of the areas that I wanted to leave as clouds. Little cloud right here. I want to make sure that I keep going here. Keep it. I just keep it alive here. Keep it erased so that I can use it. Not every little cloud, and every cloud's gonna be small at the bottom here. Maybe a couple little spots at the top that have a little lingering cloud that's a little tiny, a tiny one. So, never know. There's like one right here. One cloud there. Trying to kind of come together, right? These clouds are gonna be white anyways, right? They're gonna have like a cloud and grays and stuff. So, but I want to make sure that area behind them is dark enough so they kind of stand out. The sky has to be dark enough for that. So we'll bring this back here, erase some of this. Clouds are not that hard. I thought that, I struggled with clouds a lot, and then I started doing them, and they're like, oh, they're not incredibly hard. It depends on where the light's coming from and all this other stuff too. So you have to like the light's coming behind the clouds, and the clouds have to be like somewhat darker on one side. So since these are the lights coming from this area back here, right around this horizon line area, the clouds are going to be pretty white on the bottom of them. So on the top of them, darker because the light's at the bottom, and I gotta think about that as I'm moving forward. So, yeah. Right now we're just carving stuff out. Just carving stuff out. Yeah, I'll make sure the carving area where I want certain stuff. Put something over here. Put a little area over here that has a cloud. So you kind of get an idea where it's like it's coming in, kind of coming in this way, coming down right to that other air point, and then all this will eventually, and then you'll instead of too much of clouds kind of go towards that a little bit. So it's like the sky moving in some way, right? It's having some movement in the piece. That's what it kind of means. So, but yeah, so having fun working on this puppy. So we'll see where this goes and continue on. So, all right, so let's add some lighter areas here, some darkish areas. Blend this in a little bit. Once we get the white in there, because the white is really nice. It blends well with every other color to like a great transitional color. So we'll actually add some light like coming in through here on the side of the horizon line, because we will have some darks in here too, just a little bit of darks, but not as dark as this. Now this back here will actually be a little darker to come down into the water. So now, yeah, my finger, maybe I think, oh, my finger's getting like really getting hot, it's getting worn down. No, it's not. It's not bad. I don't use like a sandpaper for my pastel because it's just I'm afraid of that. I use like a sandpaper pastel paper that is just crazy hard on your fingers, and I'm not used to that, and I'm not going to be doing that. So, um, we'll keep with the the non sandpaper paper. So it's more. I feel that sometimes it's more for like a lot looser artists. Not as much blending maybe. So, but there's a lot of other artists that I know who they use that paper that are blending well too. So, it all depends. What you're kind of what works, right? What works, what doesn't. I may end up adding a little bit of turquoise to this guy, just a little bit. There's some areas, so we'll see. But just trying to get this lighting just right here. So right now we're just bringing this kind of sort of lightish color down amongst what we have going on, and then we'll start adding um, some white parts and things like that to it. So, but I want to bring this down a lot until we get down to like down here by the windmills a little bit, because you have to have that dark, right, in order to have that light. So what Bob Ross says, in order to have light, you gotta have dark. So yeah. And a lot of Final Fantasy world has had a lot of that. Um, it has a lot. All art, not just FF7. All art has so much, especially if you're doing something glowing, like maybe like the Mithril Mines, right? You gotta have a lot of dark in order for the light to glow. So then you have a lot of glowing, you have a lot of reflection, you have a lot of glowing off the walls. Things are like lights and stuff. So in order to make that happen, you have to have a lot of dark. So, and people don't realize that, why is my stuff glowing? Well, because what you have around it isn't dark enough. So keep that in mind if you're like an artist. You're like, oh yeah, maybe I need to make my pieces darker. But watch out for making them too dark, right? And then you have to like um, fix that, and it's like, okay, now I made everything black. Don't just make everything black. If you're use you can use like dark colors, browns and purples and things, but you can use black too. But I feel that a lot of what I'm landscapes and stuff I'm doing now, I don't ever use black anymore. Only things I've used black for, obviously, is my gray scale pieces. I don't use black anymore. Rarely do I use black. I mostly use purple for all my shadows and dark colors. So other than black, so. See, so I get kind of idea of like why I go a little slower, not just throw a bunch of colors down, because I want to transition this well enough. So it's like, if I do throwing a bunch of dark colors in here, I just can't go back and get rid of all these dark colors. So to get nice transition, you want to be able to make sure you have um, enough of something and not too much of the dark. So, but you can have too much for sure. But because you don't want to be dark down here. I mean, then you can't put these other lighter colors on top of that. Like, it'll be a transition, but it will just look weird. So you want to make sure that your lightest lights in the background and your darkest darks in the foreground. So, and not all rules. Like, there's other ways to like work compositions, and there's to, like, with your pieces, and to like take your eye somewhere other than where you're supposed to be with color or things like that. So it's focal points and stuff. So, but I'm not a master at any acrylic at all. This is kind of, I got into this years ago, and I'm still figuring out this. So, I've not done it enough recently to say like, oh yeah, I can just do this comfortably super fast. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not gonna, it doesn't have to look exactly the same as our reference guys, where we can do whatever we want, but I want to do, specific grassland area with windmills and stuff. So, maybe have some, maybe riding on chocobos down here or something. So, or just walking a couple, the walking to this windmill area. So, but I wanted to kind of show that in some way. So, and then those grassland things and some rocks, and there's gonna be a lot of different colors in this. So, we'll it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So. It's still whacking and making noise, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Crap. Okay. Maybe I can change that. Let's bring this down. Maybe I can stop that from happening too much. I think that's annoying, and it wasn't hit my mic last time, but let's switch this around. It might put a shadow over top of the piece. It is a little bit, but it's gonna help keep the piece from rattling too much, I think. Yeah, it does help it a little bit. So we'll just not have a little bit in there. That's okay. We'll be fine, I hope. So I'll have to come in here and make sure things are. See, I got a little black spot in there. You gotta watch that where you don't get black spots in your pieces from other pastels connecting to your pastel, like touching each other. So I always have a paper towel in my hand to like wipe that off, wipe my hands off, to get to another color or something like that. So, and let's go in and define our clouds again, because some of them kind of went away, right? So we'll come in and we'll define some of our clouds again. Keep those going, because sometimes they can get lost and you have to like, oh, I left that cloud there and that's in that area, but it went away because you covered it over. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping these clouds where I want them. So I'll end up adding. I don't have to add like the little tiny ones at all, because I can add the white and add the gray and the white into it, and then just put it on top of the blue, and it should be fine. So what I might end up doing anyways is probably transitioning some of these like around the outside anyways, and add more blue inside of the cloud, so I can depending if I want to make the cloud bigger. If I make the cloud bigger, I'll just go over some of these blue edges. But if I want to like make the cloud smaller, I might bring the blue in a little more, and then kind of go out and adjust the outside of it. So there's a lot of little things that you figure out as you're creating over the years. So depending on what you're using too, a medium or something. So. Let me know if this music's too loud, guys. I'm hoping to get this one done in a couple of at least 3 streams. I hope, maybe 2 streams, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. We'll see what happens. So yeah. So no, next Tuesday I will not be here, so I need to put that on schedule. Because of I'm doing a side job, so I'm trying to make some money. So I got a lot of other things too, so I gotta doing. But all right, so let's take. This thing there. That doesn't even need to be there. Honestly, it's kind of like 3 different ones there right next to each other. I was like, well, Not even that close to each other. So I want to keep some of the clouds there. I know where they're gonna go, but you don't have to keep all the clouds there because you can just go in and you can add clouds by just putting white in or something, right? So we want to make sure that some of the bigger areas to be uncovered because those are the ones that are going to be more like more visible, and it's not going to be it's good. It's bigger areas. So. Let's add some more back down in here. Because we can always go with white. It might be nice in transition. So that means we have to get all this other color, all this other stuff, and get it blended in well, and get it transitioned well. So we'll come in here and we'll go through here and we'll get some things kind of blended in well. I'm trying to get some of the color that I'm like hoping we were gonna get. So now we're getting the color we need. So and then we can start adding a little bit of darker areas and where we need it. So I'm gonna start adding a little bit more to these areas. Now we kind of know where we're going with it and how much to use now and like the color. I'm liking the color. So, but this is not kind of not a tutorial, guys. This is me kind of doing my process. So, everyone does their things differently, their process differently. So don't go by me if you're as a tutorial. So, just kind of very much not a tutorial right now. So, I have taught like some art, but not enough to I feel. Well, I wouldn't say enough. I could teach art, but everyone does, like I said, does it differently, and people learn differently, and sometimes how you do it, just people don't like it, and or your way is really weird, and it just doesn't work at all for anybody other than you, right? You're just I don't know, your process may be different, or maybe more. Maybe someone out there may do the same process as you. I'm sure they do, but it just depends. So, all right, let's see. Let's keep adding. I want to add some down here a little bit because there is going to be some dark areas depending, and there's some lights and some grays down here where these clouds are going to be, but I do want to make this dark enough because I don't want to end up not having enough dark down here when I start adding my whites and things and my grays and stuff like that. So then sometimes I realize, oh, I don't have enough darks down here. It's not working well. So gotta make sure that I have all of that I need. And maybe you can start using your other fingers in here to get a better blend, a thicker blend, a easier, faster blend. Sometimes doing pinky, it doesn't necessarily work. Right? It is my go-to. I think is my go-to blender for anything small. And I think some people have larger hands. It's hard to do like small pieces like this. So people usually maybe you'll go bigger, depending on the hand size. So I know that. I'm not seeing anybody honestly do the kind of blending and stuff that I do on this kind of type of paper. I want to see like one other person do it, but you always use like the UArt paper, which is like sandpaper. I don't know why I went to watercolor color paper, but it tends to work for me pretty well. So we'll see how if I decide to do something different in the future. So, but for right now, no use quitting with what works, right? If it's gonna work, it's still working, still do it. But anyways, actually, we got my finger started hurting, but my pinky did not hurt when I was doing this. I guess it's like maybe adjusted for that. But I haven't done any colored pastel, like I said, in a couple weeks. So I'm mainly using that stick and like with like the sponge on it. and kind of going in and doing my values that way. So I'm using like the charcoal pencil. So all right, so we'll add some more darker areas in here. We'll come in with the lights and start adding these clouds and stuff. And sometimes you can avoid making shapes around other shapes. Make me see it or not, but I did like the shape around here. I must say like a blue shape. Never want to do like shapes around other shapes, especially if it's a background sky. You just want to keep it random and blend it in well. So now I have to go in and erase some of this. Like I had this line down the side of a blue, like I was trying to trace around the circle. Don't do that, just throw it up. I'll try to erase it around the circle. It makes it your backgrounds not pushed back, right? They're more focused, and you're focused on shapes, and you're gonna see that with your eyes. So try to blend those backgrounds well with everything else, so it's nice and soft, because you don't want the background to be focused on. You want it to be out of focus. So as much as you can, so such these windmills are your focus. You don't want that to be bothering you when you're looking at the windmills. So subject matter, keep in focus. Background's gonna be really soft. It's gonna be pushed back there, right? You don't want it to be as much as you want it to focus as from the foreground things and stuff. So and we may lose some of our stuff here, right? We may end up losing some of our shapes and some of our things, but that's okay. We can come in, erase some things. Like obviously, I need an electric eraser. Sometimes it's nice to come in here and kind of take things out, make things in, put things in, and it really helps because anything that you put in the background is going to be lighter, so you don't have to worry about it being too dark. So you just want to make sure that you're keeping your shapes and things back here as much as you can. It's you realize now you have to have that background, right? You're wanting enough gray and enough things in the background here so that you can put the white in here at some point. We will do that here soon, so I want to get this background kind of blended in pretty well. Especially this top is pretty good blended in. So listen to some of our cloud shapes, but that's okay. We can go back in and we'll kind of keep some of that, erase some of those out of there. So I've not picked out my windmill parts yet. So once I get those kind of done, we'll go back and add the blue and add that stuff, the sky to it. I don't want to cover any of that over right now. So wish I could use my other easel, but it's way too big, and I'd have to bring it over, and it's like it's huge, and I just don't want to do that. So we'd have to deal with the kinks and the metal and the movements every once in a while that you're hearing through the mic. So it is what it is. So I don't want the easel, I just don't want the board to be connecting with the mic, bumping it like last time. That was annoying to edit. So that was not fun at all. All right, so the next part would be probably going in and adding grays and depths, but we're going to go at the very top again, and we're going to add some of this blue in here. Try to blend some of this in a little bit better. Find out the color I'm looking for, but we'll maybe try adding some of this darker color too. Let's see. Let's go and erase some of these clouds a little bit. Go. Down here. There. It's a big one back up in here, which is fine. It's like one here. It's like a couple. We'll put like one here. One right there. And of course, those clouds, you know, they're gonna probably end up being bigger than that. Just a couple of them. And they'll be lingering a little bit, doing some different stuff, things. It could be wispy, right? They don't have to be real thick, and they can just kind of be soft and whatnot. But I want to get the realistic look to them as much as I can. Maybe make them wispy to make their movement, like they're really wispy. So we'll see what I decide what I want to do with that. So I think that would be kind of cool. Kind of get really kind of a blurry type movement for a background. That'll look really neat. So I want over there on that side. Why not? But we want to direct it to the background, like to that one focal point area back in the back, or perspective point in the back. So go. All right. This is, I don't know about you guys, this is driving me nuts. I cannot see anything. Sorry, I'm gonna have to just let that thing bang a little bit. But I cannot see anything. I gotta be able to see that top. There's like a purple color, which I actually like way more than the other blue up here. But I am going to add some, I started adding some like darker elements up here a little bit with that. I think that'll really separate the areas, add some depth. I don't want to add too much of that, I just want to add enough, like, just enough to make that happen. Make sure I'm not hitting this mic with my board. So you can kind of see some of the sky up in the corner, kind of coming alive. Coming down with this. So last up in here, up in there, up in this one corner too. Alright. I might have to take some of these clips off. Some of the clips, and let's add a little bit here, just a little bit. I wonder how this sounds on freaking, might be really fucking annoying, so I have no clue. Sorry guys if it's like really fucking annoying or not. So I'll listen to it later to find out, yeah, this is stupid fucking annoying, and we're not gonna go with it any further than this. So, but a lot of people may not care, so we'll see. Depends on how dark. Also, doing this, it just depends on how dark you want this piece, right? If you want it way darker and you want any light hardly at all coming through, then maybe it's a little bit of light here and kind of focusing on some of these little tips of the fans, of these windmills and stuff. Maybe all this doesn't it's like kind of in shadow, right? You just have this light coming right over top of over top of all of this. It's just light shining on these windmills in the sky. And just putting the main focus on the windmills, all that light going on the windmills, that's kind of cool to like add the shadow, like half shadow, half light on the windmill. It's kind of cool. I don't do that a lot. I need to do that maybe more. But it's kind of a cool effect. So, but maybe we'll do that in the future. We'll try something like that. and I think that would be kind of cool. So let's go in here and really blend this puppy up. Really blend it up here. This needs to be blended. Get my power tool out here. So we'll find my stupid jokes. Alright. There we go. Actually way better. So now you guys can see what I'm really kind of going for here too. So this really helps. I love that pastel. It's not bad at all. So I like to add maybe a little bit more in some areas. Maybe on the sides. So we'll see. Maybe up in here somewhere more. Especially if the light's on coming behind here on the back end. We'll see. So maybe add a little bit more up here. Coming across. A little less on the other side, right? Maybe a little more on this side. Here we go. Get some blended in here. Let's get some blended shit going here. Well, I have one viewer. It's better than no viewers, right? 39 seconds. More viewers than I had yesterday. There we go. Getting something going. Getting something going here. It's kind of showing what it can be and what it's how it's coming through, and as far as progress, what we're doing here. So take this clip off and fill this in real quick. There we go. Okay. It's cool. I might go in and keep adding. This is a darker color, yeah. Keep adding darker in here just to like keep an area somewhat dark, right? Because you're wanting to keep things still dark in some areas. Like this is almost as dark as well, not quite dark. It's that horizon line I want to make it, right? That's a nice little horizon line with the water. I may go in and decide, oh okay. Let's a little bit of water going on. And just I want to throw some water. And why not? Let's throw some water. And I'll get reflection, and then I'll get all kinds of stuff. So we'll leave it at that right now. So I've done enough skies to realize that, that there's always a little extra you can throw up in there to like bring out more depth and more things and really show how the sky is supposed to be put together. So, and I want to add a little bit more darker areas. Down here, maybe darken this just a little bit more. Keep it a little light on that side, a little darker on this other side. the next comment, if I want to push back that light a little bit, I'm going to push back that blue a little bit. I can come in here with a lighter color if I want, if I need to. So, all right, so let's I'm going to erase some of these areas where I know these clouds are going. Kind of keep them a bit back where they were. Just a little bit. I don't want to carve them out too much, but having that blue on them a little bit, actually, it's helping to when I put the clouds in, it's going to help layer them better and add a little depth to the clouds. So let's see here. There's one that I was trying to get like up here, like up here. The clouds are kind of bouncing a little all over the place here, so. Here, erase some of this. It's kind of getting dark up in here, which is fine, but I think adding some of that light color into there here soon would help that stay lighter there. See what we got with this gray. There's some clouds in there. We'll some grays and whites, fluffiness. Grays may not be needed that much in this because the clouds are pretty wispy. So let's see what happens. We don't even need that gray that much. So, but I don't know. Go on, let's keep it going. Because I feel that light is gonna end up coming down here. I'm gonna end up coming through here at some point, so I'm gonna make sure this is dark enough to add that light. So I'm going to erase this windmill because it's too high, and I want that other colored pencil blending into my blues. So we'll take it out and we'll add it later on. We be good to add that. So it won't be too bad to erase and add in. So it'll be a much lighter color. I know that. It's like I didn't like draw this with like dark pencil, right, or dark charcoal pencil. I mean, you can't take it out, right? That would just ruin the piece. So, here, fill this in. It will be like right in here somewhere, probably. Something like that. So we'll keep that little bump right there for now. That works. here soon. Get those clouds going. But I really want to blend some of this together still. So sometimes this early white is like the lightest colors, the softest colors. The darker colors are always the harder to blend. They're always darker. They're always rougher. They don't blend as well with the darker colors. So the lighter you go, the way easier it is to blend. So it kind of more like sticks to the paper, like it's buttery soft. So it's pretty crazy. I'll be posting my FF7 swamp piece I did the other day. I'll be posting up on my TikTok. I didn't post it up today because I wanted people to actually go and look at it, kind of see for themselves what the results are, but I'll post them tomorrow. Um, so it's not bad. It's not bad. I think I play some FF7 tonight. So, but I get a job hunting again tomorrow. I'm not making it to this month, I don't think. So I gotta have something within like a week. If I don't, then well. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I've been searching all for a month and a half now for a job, and it's just not happening. So some of the world doesn't want me to do it, but I'm kicking ass and making art every single day, and put out I don't know how many pieces the last month. So all I can do is just keep doing what I'm doing. So I get some help by a couple friends to help me out, whatever. But still, it's like I don't want to help. I just want to be able to make it through myself. So, anyways, all right. Cool, cool. If we get that white in there, and we start making like wispy things. It's gonna look so dope. It's gonna look so good. Someone here to chat with me. Come on, get some people in here. Or even no chat in here. Come on, bring some chat in here. But what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Just keep on, keep it on. Make this happen. Getting soft. It's coming along. I'm just keep working it in and keep working it in. So I'm not trying to add like layers over top of too many layers. Just trying to work in the areas where there's like not a lot in there in the paper, but trying to keep the transition of dark and light where they need to be. So it's a matter of paying, yeah, just a matter of paying attention for that stuff. Just kind of eyeing it and feeling out where it needs to go, right? But some of that white can paper can be used as part of clouds and things. And I've done that before in a couple things where I just left the paper white and I ended up adding a little things here and there. It actually came out really good. People couldn't even tell that I used the white for something, for like some of the clouds in the background. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time I don't do that. I just kind of fill it in. But once in a while, little pieces, little things here and there will work good with that. So, alright, so let's add a couple dark areas. Let's add a couple-ish dark areas. Let's see. Maybe up in here a little bit. Get a good transition. So we got the colors here. White over that dark is gonna look really great. It's gonna look amazing, right? I don't bring that dark down too far. I just want to bring it that dark down enough. There's some parts where I could bring it down further, right? I mean, but I'm not sure where I'm going with that right now, so I could go back and add certain areas, but I can bring it down just a smidge in some areas. I want to keep the sky kind of not thrusting down, like going down to this perspective. I want to keep it somewhat level, going back and forth in some ways, because I feel that the sky isn't going to do that, the clouds are. So I want to keep the sky at a certain, like, going back both ways and not just going down towards the clouds. It looks like the whole sky is doing that. But just the clouds, I want movement, right? So I have to keep an keep an idea of what I'm doing with the sky, because certain areas are going to glow more than others of the sky in certain directions and things. So I'm trying to keep a lot of the dark on one side, and what the light's going to be, not do that much on that side. So I'm trying to transition that a little better. So just transitioning color to the next spot, to the next spot, to the next spot. Just keeping things in mind. So maybe I decided to there's a little tiny cloud right there. So and this, I could use this color too, like the off-white, to start making clouds too. So if I wanted to add this to make the cloud here, make it super soft, right? I can totally do that. And then what I could do is add and that turns into almost like a gray. Which works well. Then I can start adding a little bit of white to that. So I could go in and start adding some clouds to this. If I went in wispy, I'm gonna have to make some movement in them. But maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll I don't know. We'll see how things go. So just make them regular clouds. Made directional, like wispy clouds before, and they work. Yeah, they work for like a movement type thing, and sometimes it's a little too much. So I think I'm just gonna soften things up and keep the clouds at a certain kind of just bunches and things in here. So we're gonna try some things though. Try some things. So now that I have these clouds in here, now that that background looks really well, this goes over well with that background as far as blue. So when you start adding things like this, these clouds, they just start working really, really well. I just love what I'm creating now. So it's like you got your first layer of cloud going on. It's really cool. So you keep adding that, keep adding certain things to it. It's when you have a nice dark background that now you can start putting these really cool clouds in there and stuff. So you have the gray, you have what you need for some of it already. So then you have to just add white to it, right? Add some white to the background. And they'll be down here too. There's a bunch of some clouds down there and some light colors and stuff, and some grays and things too. So we'll add some of this to this here. Clouds can do all kinds of stuff. They can make all kinds of shapes. Linger off a little bit, right? They can kind of linger off, do things, and different shapes and different things, different patterns. Once you start adding the white in there, it's like a whole other thing, man. It's just, it just comes alive. It's so cool. So. Still a lot of space and little white spaces in here I'm gonna have to fill in. So I'm gonna have to add some darker areas to this to fill it in up at the top here. Probably lost track of time already. I don't even know what time it is. So I've been having some fun. Been here for almost 2 hours already. Is it almost 9? Yeah, it is 9. Wow. Alright. Nice. This is why that's why I like doing this, because the time just goes by and you're having a good time, man. You're having a good time. So I hope that everyone else is playing FF7 lately. I'm sure they have. I mean, I watched a couple people play here and there, not to spoil my my playthroughs and stuff. I watched a little bit of Max, like doing some side quests and stuff. Maximilian dude, but nothing to like spoilery content. So he's like, I put 110 hours already. I'm not even to the end, and I guess the ending is pretty long, so which is cool. So I'm at 70 some hours right now, and I didn't even done Cosmo and Cannon yet, or Nibelheim, or so like I haven't even done any of that yet, and let alone the Forgotten Temple, the City of the Ancients. I haven't done any of that at all either. So that's just crazy how much I got left in this game to play. But I probably shouldn't play tonight. Probably should look up a job and obviously try to do some employment stuff. So, but I'm just adding a little darker to some of these cloud areas I just added because I wanted to kind of make them stand out a little bit more. So, anyways, that's what I was adding there while I was chatting. So, my eyes itching. It's always itching when I'm doing this. Let's add a little more cloud up here. That look good. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, coming along. I realize now I need to put a little bit darker blue down in here because of to make these clouds kind of jump out a little bit more. I'm gonna have to add like a slightly more darker blue down in here. So I'm gonna add a little bit, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I think it'll be cool. Just add just enough. I wish I could get this set up where I'm like having my camera in a different position and I'm working, but this seems to be the best comfortable for me, guys. I'm sorry that maybe I can't, but I mean this is a pretty good camera with my iPhone camera is pretty good, but too bad I can't like zoom in a little bit more, but um it does a pretty good job, so it's actually better than going out and buying another camera. I just don't see the point right now, so especially with my budget right now. Um, so if you guys can know like any other way it might be better, just give me a holler or let me know in the stream or something. Someone needs to come here and say hi. This person here for like a minute and 50. It's like, come on! Another person came in. At least that's the record now, I think. So I got 2 people coming into the stream now. I get 2 viewers. So, but we will make sure that I look over at my chat every once in a while in case someone says something. But I haven't had anybody say anything, so. Let's add a little bit of color to that. There we go. Add a little cloud here. Like that. Let's see. Sometimes when it's like not overly bright on something, especially during the day when I'm working, it's the best time to work. This is not bad, but it just makes everything super bright. I do work like this at festivals sometimes, but when I go home, I'm like, oh yeah, this has got to change. This has got to change. So I may look over this over the weekend and be like, yeah, this has to change. This has to change. I'll improve this. I'll improve that. So, but I may do that too. Most likely before I move on to anything else. So. Coming along, guys. Coming along. So, let's add this cloud up here. Now, this cloud is probably going to be way brighter than all the other ones, but we'll get to the bright part of it later. Right now, I just want to get this sky going and get to where I want it. Alright. Get there, get there. Let me pull you a little bit closer. There we go. Looking pretty good. Right. A little closer. Not much, but a little bit. Okay. Let's add a little bit of dark to this. I'm adding a little bit as I go, right? I didn't want to add so much before that I didn't know. I haven't done clouds or skies enough. I should say enough. Not a lot lately to like, okay, I'm just gonna add this whole thing blue and go for it, right? I want to add it gradually. That's why I didn't want to. I'm sure I wasn't gonna ruin it. My first color trying to do a color piece, and it's like, yeah, it sucks. So, anyways. Sometimes I actually add too many layers and have to go back in and take it like a paper towel and wipe it all off because it is way too thick with layers and it's not even gonna, this doesn't dry, right? It just stays on here. So you have to it's like a process with pastel. You have to like keep it so it doesn't mess up. Oops, break a little bit. So it doesn't mess up and it's, it's good and preserved. So it's a certain way you gotta ship it to and all kinds of stuff. So it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. So well, at least I know we got somewhere tonight, so that's good. Um, I want to next piece, like I said, I think it's gonna be Jenova doing a skull piece. That'll probably be black and white. I don't know yet. Maybe, maybe not. So it could make way quicker, and I want to like get these pieces done in like 2 to 3 streams, right? So we'll see how this one goes. Get this background done, and then I'll be ready to move forward and do some things. But anyways, so we'll see how that goes for the future as far as what I decide to do with. Because there's a lot of colors in Jenova. There's a lot of things happening at that. So am I up for that? I don't know. So we'll see what happens. I just feel like I'm way easier with the skulls, or way easier. Just way better with the skulls with grayscale. So, but we'll see what happens. I may decide, all right, let's just do it and go for it. But I can't guarantee anything with the color. So I might end up trying something a little different. People always said, you should like implement your skulls now in your color. Like, yeah, I should totally do that, but that's not easy. So I think the hardest part for me is drawing it in color and using the colors and using. So I can do it. I know I can. It's just gonna take me a little more time than my grayscale. So because I can get a grayscale, sometimes I can get a grayscale skull done in like an hour to 2 or 3 hours, right? And I'm really comfortable with that, and that's what I've been doing for a while. So. Anyways. Alright. Let's keep going with the dark a little bit in some areas here. Spread out these clouds a little bit. Better. Sometimes this takes some time with this background. Get where I wanted it, so. But yeah, it's alright, we'll get there. Is that hitting against that? Maybe it is. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like there's a slightly... maybe not that much darker. Okay. Alright, so let's add... now that I add a little bit of dark, let's add a little bit of the light color here to some of these clouds. Just a little bit. Make sure that I'm pointing in the right direction too, because I want to make sure I'm pointing where I'm supposed to be pointing. Put this over here. Crazy how much dark that I brought down this far all the way. It's gonna have to be dark in some way. That gray and white being down there, I'm gonna have some kind of like dark to go up against. So that's all right. At least it's not the totally darkest area. It's just not working unless I bring some down. So. Then I can come back and start adding white down in here and stuff. grays and things. Might actually add some grays. See if this I can find a gray or so. I might add some grays and stuff here, which I already have. Like with this thing, it's like almost like it's like a bluish gray. I think what's it? Blue green 5, so it's like a greenish color, which not much green in that. Mostly just like a gray, which is fine. It's kind of what I need anyways. So um, then I can come in here soon and I can start adding some white clouds in here and stuff like that to really bring out some of the depth. Let's add some white, some gray areas in here, some dark. What time is it? 9:14. Okay, we still got 45 minutes. Good. All right. Let's add. Could add some whites and grays and things to figure out what exactly putting some of these clouds and whatnot. So I think this gray I have here is a little too dark, but maybe not. It's a little darker though. Not sure if it's a little harder too, so I'm not sure if I want to. It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't want to make it too dark back in here. There's a couple of gray spots, right? It might be a cloud or something. Maybe there's a dark spot behind one of these clouds back here. Usually I put the dark spots in like after I put the white in, so let's we'll wait on that, and let's add some more of this color here. Let's go over to this area and kind of fill it in, because I feel that. Let's fill some of this in. It's okay, I'll bring it down all the way to the bottom, but we'll add white to that and stuff, so it's okay. I'm gonna carve out a little bit of a area where I think I've added trees and stuff, so, but that part will be mostly like a soft tree type thing. It's not going to be a sharp branch by any means. You want to make that a soft kind of transition, but at least need to know where they're going here, so I can put some back there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and carve this out. Kind of where I somewhat want this. Got a little windmill there. Let's take some of it out. I don't think I need that big of one there. There we go. Coming along, guys, coming along. Then all I need to do now is add some white fluffy clouds and stuff with some grays and start blending in and start making some depth. And then I can start bringing where the light's going to be hitting and all the fun stuff. So that's probably the hardest part. I had the most trouble with atmospheric perspective. The atmosphere, back in the back. Well, the hardest for me, but I think, we'll nail it. We will. So get that going. And I think adding the white and adding, like, I need to find a good gray. Like, this gray I think is too dark. What I have now isn't bad when I'm using. So we'll see. As I add the white, maybe I can tone down the white by blending a little bit more. Because I gotta go here and add some of that anyways to kind of, especially for like some of those right here on this reference picture. The very horizon, you got like this all like whitish, bluish light color, right? And then you have, and they're like almost like grays, not quite dark. So, um, there's a lot of that. So I'm just trying to fill in that part. So, as far as the grayish part and the darkish colored part, and bring that down as much as I can to show that that depth that we can be created. So. We already have like this gray down in here that's really going to work well with our white and our clouds and stuff. So I'm really kind of excited to get that going. So and then I can start building up that. I can start building up some of these. I mean, we're not going to add like tons. I want to add enough, right? But we'll see how much I add. Much clouds I add. It may not be a lot. It could just be a sky. It could be like a little bit of light that comes through here, right? And then I can just blend the sky lighter, and then just have these clouds come into it, and not be a lot of clouds in the background back here. Just a little bit of light and a little bit of tiny clouds back here. So we're not putting so much emphasis on the clouds and making them the main focus when I want this to be the main focus. So we'll kind of balance that out a bit. So see where that goes. All right, so let's go in and maybe add a little bit of light color, maybe some white in here. So I think my white is not with me at this second. So let me go look for my white real quick. All right, back. So the white that I do have are like little tiny pieces, seriously. So they're like little tiny pieces. So I don't have a lot. So we're gonna manage with kind of manage what we got and do the best we can. So. We'll add a little bit of white and grays to the horizon. So I don't want to put white clear at the bottom of the horizon. I just want to put like a little bit of light in some areas. But we'll see how that goes. I need to add layers with the blues and the grays as much as I can. So. Anyways, those are my whites, but a bunch of the whites I've kept for years that are just there to there as far as me using all of my sticks all the way down to little nubs. So let's see. Let's go down in here and we'll add couple white spots here and there. We'll kind of mess with it a little bit, right? We'll kind of add them and I think that kind of works so far, but we'll just mess around, figure it out, right? It's been a while since I've done this, so we will kind of add things and then like kind of blur them in and kind of give them kind of a blurry effect in the background, right? It's a little, and then what we're trying to achieve will come into play. It'll work out. You know, that means like adding grays and adding some dark areas where we might need them more. Um, so it depends. Just keep adding, keep making it work, making it happen, making it work. So right now we're just making fluffiness and things in the background, making kinds of stuff, and that means sometimes I think that maybe all we need in the background is just straight blue, right? Just straight blue sky. And if it means adding a little darker areas, maybe we'll do that. But maybe it just doesn't need, we need to have white back there, right? So we're just adding a little tiny spots. And I think that's maybe just the way we need to be doing it. So, but I can add some white to some of these, clouds up here, making them kind of stand out a little bit more, right? So, I don't use, obviously I've used white, but I've used it so much. I've gone through other sticks that are not white a lot faster because there's no reason just to use white, right? Unless there's something that you're trying to achieve with white, like a lot of white, which I never use in pieces, like a lot of white in my pieces, mostly as reflections and like very edge of things that have like the sharp, the biggest glow on it. So, or snow or something like that, right? So it depends on what we're making. So we're creating. So, anyways. I may look it up tomorrow and oh, this piece looks like butt. I may have to go back and adjust some things. But, usually that's not too much the case. Just every once in a while, things don't, they don't look right. So that means it's me going in and fixing a couple things here and there. So, and maybe these pieces, maybe some of these clouds are like making little trails, right? Making little trails. Maybe we want to make some trails on some of this white. Little trails, like how jets, have like little trails, or what they're called. But anyways, little trails and stuff. And as we get closer to the to some of this, it gets a little brighter. So let's go back to here. Go through here and then add some darker areas on this shoreline. I mean, sometimes you have to go back, right? You have to go back, like, oh, that's not dark enough in that area. What am I gonna have to like come in now and make that darker because the white isn't showing up as much, right? Maybe I have to go back in and adjust some things. So, and you'll have that. So, but but by lightening up some of this background, have the clouds kind of forming into some of this background. It kind of gives you a little gray, kind of gives you a little white. It kind of makes it nice and fluffy, right? So, but you want to feel like there's light back there too, right? So you're gonna have to find a way to emphasize some of this white beyond the gray. So maybe you make some parts of the cloud that's like, maybe up in here there's a part that's super like a sharper edge, and it's like on the edge of this cloud now it just is very bright because there's a lot of light coming from that part of the sky or below this area over here. So it shoots up and it makes those tips of those clouds, right, a little brighter. So you're gonna have a brighter area. So you're gonna have that. So that'd be kind of cool thing to add to this, right? Kind of add a lighter area to some of this. That means darkening like the sky, like we did, right? To help to emphasize that lightness in the clouds. So, and sometimes the light can be so bright, right? So we have to think like, oh, just gonna work. So I have to transition all of this from a light to darkest. So maybe only this portion of it right now is getting the lightest, and everything else isn't getting as light. So maybe I'll do a little bit on this side, right? A little bit on this side over here, and leave it at that. And that only gets a little bit because it's only hitting a little bit. So that's why I was throwing the dark in that area, because now I'm getting a lot of light stuff happening. So, and this would be maybe some of this over here is getting now it's getting super light because how close it is to some areas. So, and I can leave some of that pretty bright. So we'll get there. We're getting there. We're making something happen. So. I also want to keep in mind that some of these sometimes don't keeping your keeping your darks or keeping your clouds the shape and the way they're pointing is like kind of important, right? So if you want to keep pointing that direction, you want to make sure your clouds are keep pointing in the direction of where they're going or where they're heading to. So that's kind of important, right? So we're doing white clouds at the bottom here. We want to keep everything kind of going in one direction. So, and I think this is kind of coming this way, right? This is going down in. This is going down in. This is up here, so this was kind of going straight-ish down, right? Keep all those going in the same direction. So maybe we'll throw some purple in here. There's already a little bit of purple in here. So I'm going to throw a little bit of purple in some areas. I think that would be cool to have some purple in here. There's a little bit of purple in the clouds. Let's do that. Clouds kind of give it, purple kind of give it like almost like a shadow kind of ish. Don't get too carried away with things, right? So I'm like almost getting. I feel like I'm getting carried away with this a little bit. So yeah. So you can kind of keep adding whatever, but keep adding, and then you just know that it's like here's a much darker color here that I could add up here. Now I'm getting, a way darker area now, too. So, which I might actually add a little up here. It's kind of cool. Like a little darker area. A little darker area up here. It's a little darker area up here. You don't want it too much darker, but just enough. Then we'll add some more white. We'll try to find. Here, maybe we'll go in and take some of this off. Let's take a little bit. This is kind of evening things out. I don't like too much of this in here. This is actually making it so I can't connect my dark color here. It's all like one cloud, which I don't want. Separate the clouds a little bit. I just use that. I just use paper towel to like take some stuff out. So I wanted to take it out a little bit. So I'm missing a thing. I think it's a little bit of turquoise in here. What we got here? That's more like a gray color. Okay. It's almost like a gray, dark gray color too. It's kind of nice. Alright, so do is add it's kind of cool. Add a little cloud there. Let's add a little bit. Let's add one cloud, because this is supposed to be pretty big up here. Let's add a cloud here. But I go like that. There we go. Then we will add another kind of a small cloud over here. These are kind of being emphasized, like really put a lot of like. These ones had a lot of like light on them, right? So maybe we'll keep that in mind, that these are a little bit brighter on that side, closer to this area, kind of a little bit brighter compared to the other ones. I'm gonna tone this one down a little bit. There we go. See, and everything's kind of pointing to right where I'm kind of wanting the eye to go to, which is nice, right? So, this is see them up there, and they go right down to this windmill area, right? So it's kind of where I want the clouds to go, anyways. So it's kind of nice, right? So you're pointing, having the eye of something, really kind of taking the eye somewhere, and yeah, so it's a good thing. But also, you know, I don't want to make everything too busy. It's pretty busy, but it's okay. If we need to take things out later, we'll take things out later. But you know, just erase them and put some other stuff in there. Like I said, so to a certain degree, and you start getting dark colors, and it's like, okay, make sure you know what you want, where you want your dark colors to be, and things, and before you move on to your dark stuff. So how much time we got left? Is it half hour? Yeah, about 20 minutes. Okay, cool. So, I got the white still out, so let's. I feel like even though it's a bright area, we're still gonna have like our darks, right? So I'm gonna put this in here, a little bit of this color in here, a little bit dark, bring it down, and we can emphasize the light, how much light there's gonna be within this piece in here soon. So it's gonna be obviously much lighter than up in here, right? So to a certain degree, we might bring it down a little bit, right? So it may just, it's okay. But we gotta have a little bit dark in here in order to bring our light out. So keep it going, we'll keep it going. I also want to make this cloud a little thicker up here. I feel like it doesn't really doing anything justice. It's hanging out up here, but it's not really doing much. It's kind of forking, and I'm not really liking it that much. So we'll add some more to it. Because clouds do all kinds of things, right? It'd be cool to make that come alive a little more. Let's add darker up here, and some dark up here. Dark up there. bring some dark in. Watch not to add too many layers. It starts getting shitty, and it's like starts not applying well, and then it really gets bad. So you have to watch out for that. That's another thing you have to notice if your stuff colors start getting muddy. You're just adding too many layers, and it's almost it's things totally reversible. But you can take things off of paper towels. Don't try to erase them. If you can take things off of paper towels most of the time, most of the pastel you can. So I would use paper towels if you're going to try to do that. Taking layers off. Easiest way to do that. It's going to make a little bit of a mess-ish, but on the paper towel, hopefully, right? It might come up. But it's messy stuff, so... And I should be wearing a mask, right? And all that other stuff. But I haven't used this in a while, and it's like... If I blow on it, it's probably going everywhere, over my computer. And stuff like that. So... But, it's okay, man. It's just like... Moving on. Don't worry about it too much. But if you use a pastel all the time in a non-ventilated area, you should be wearing a mask for sure. So, it's just, I've had issues last time. Either I got sick, or something happened at night, or either it's my anxiety and it's like kicking my ass. And that's why I'm having trouble breathing. So, that could be part of the reason too. So, dark spots, which are not a bad idea, but working it out a little bit. Adding some stuff. There we go. Making fluffy clouds, making fluffy stuff. Not bad, not bad, not bad. I think the hardest part now is connecting the background to the foreground. I mean, the background to the other background, like this background back there to this midground, I should say, or background. Um, it's like finding a real soft color that kind of blends. You kind of blend it back, try to find a nice blending pattern, or not a pattern, but two colors that are light that can go well together, and kind of um, sometimes it's darker colors, right? You have this part back in here, on this first one back here, which all those dark colors are actually not as dark as the foreground, but they're softer. Sometimes you need that, right? So even though they're not always going to be super soft in the background, sometimes they can be a slightly darker color too. But I think I'm going for slightly lighter colors as far as trees and stuff like that. So, but they're going to be um, obviously not going to be super dark, but I got to find some dark area and then kind of put back in the back a super lightish green color to kind of get close to that atmospheric area in the back here. It kind of pushes that back with it, and then some of those darker colors will push forward, and they'll look like give it depth. So, um, anyways, some of that's cool to achieve. I like coming in here and doing that, so that's fun. And sometimes, like, I just added some dark right in between some of these clouds. Sometimes you'll need that, right? Sometimes you just don't have the right amount of darkness in some of your cloud areas in your sky. It's like, oh, maybe I should put some of that in there, right? So, maybe that's just really far back, and it's just kind of coming through the clouds areas, like coming through there. So, and sometimes, because all that sky really is, all of it's really that blue sky. It's just a lot of clouds and wisps and different things in front of it to make like it's not all blue, like it's the light that's coming through, right? So sometimes you'll have hidden blue areas in there. That's what the sky is like not showing you. It could be dark. So maybe they're hiding back in there. So sometimes it's good to bring the darks forward a little bit, so that it kind of help creates that depth. So, and I can come in here and start adding some lighter colors, because now that I brought some of that darker colors in there, it really helps. It helps to bring the lights out. So. But you gotta watch out what dark colors you use, then you start using too dark of a color, right? So when keep the similar darkish colors that you've been using, just try to grab the lightest, darkest color, so that you're not, adding too much of a dark color back in the background. So. Go. And sometimes you have to emphasize some of this horizon line, like make that dark enough to where, because it's dark on the other horizon line, right? So maybe adding the horizon line darker makes that gray come out, not just adding white there, right? So if I just add this color here now, that's what I've been using throughout the piece to make those clouds. Now I have more of a line, almost like, what's on some of this background in reference we're kind of looking at, right? We can make it slightly lighter. So I think that would help a little bit, especially if the light's coming through all, around the, so I can come in here with the white and I could just kind of add a little bit of this area. Come in here, add a little bit to it, and I'll separate that color with that color a little bit. So, but you always want to make sure these lines are straight in horizon line. If they're crooked in any way, it looks like they're off. They're probably off. So, and sometimes your finger is used to going across like this, and you're making like a rainbow. So you gotta be careful. Use a ruler or something if you want to get those. But anyways, you can't. Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff, man. It's a lot happening, a lot of things going on, and it's cool when you start creating and adding and things and realizing what you need to be doing, and it all kind of comes together. So that's the fun part. It really is. I can come in here with a dark edge out some of this line, and maybe I need to edge out that little bit of a line back down underneath there to make that cloud kind of do its thing. So, like a couple dark spots in here. Let's add a little bit of the light color. And maybe add some white somewhere, some other places. Just a little bit, we can like blur it out if it's too much. Maybe some of this light is on the edge. It's on the edge of the cloud because the cloud is now has the light around the outside of the cloud because the light is coming over top of the cloud. So now we're getting light on the other side of the cloud and behind everything else. So we're in front of the sun area or the light. So yeah, it's a kind of a cool way to do this. Like everything else is in like grays. So I'm emphasizing some of this light around the outside. And if that means going in and darkening some areas just a little bit with some gray, we can do that. And then emphasizing that white again. Maybe the white went away, so let's go back in with the white. and we will emphasize the light that's coming off that. But in order to do that, you really have to have a dark background if you want the light to come through like that. So having a lighter, darker background really does help, especially on this reference photo here. The bottom one. I think it's the bottom one, I think. The bottom one. Some of those light areas where it's like really emphasizing the tips of the light, sometimes they're a little dark around the outsides of those. So the sky is, and you have that tips of white that's really like pushing through. So maybe I don't have that. Maybe it's like, but maybe I do. I don't know. So I have to kind of take a look at this when I go back. I go back, but do some more stuff with this later. Some more things here. I want to add some grays to some of these clouds and see what we're getting out of these here. Some of these kind of need some grays, honestly. Emphasize the back end of some stuff. You can come back in with the white if you want and like kind of touch up some things if you're liking the grays or not. But the grays I think work well because it shows the dark parts of the clouds. So. You'll go in here and add some darker areas to some of this, just a little bit, because of this light kind of come out. And some of this doesn't need all that, but we'll do a little bit. And then we could add some other colors and lighter colors coming up around the dissipate some of this. I feel like I'm missing some colors in my clouds. I feel like maybe I need to use a little turquoise. That's what you talked about that earlier. I never did throw some turquoise in there. If that would actually help my sky a little bit. Let's see what we got going on here. What we can use with this. If I use turquoise, it's probably going to be closer to the light. So we'll throw a little bit of turquoise in here. Why not, right? Just a little bit. Kind of lighten some things up. It's a little color to this. But that's just what it needs. It's just like different colors in the clouds. You just need it. Sometimes you're just like, what? I'm missing something. Well, what colors should I use? Like, oh, I'm missing this color. And it's just like perfect. Right? Not everyone, not always like that, but you know, sometimes I'm like, it's missing something. So, I mean, turquoise is wrong. But I feel that sometimes it's the little tiny things like that they help to like bring out a piece. It'll have to like adjust another color. It's just like, oh, okay. Now we're getting some of like the mid tones, like within like the sky, like between the grays and the dark blues and the whites, like the whites and the grays or the whites and the blues. You'll have like make a little bit of, you know, turquoise color in between that. So especially in the clouds, maybe there's like a cloud that has more turquoise in it, and then another place, and somewhere else, and another cloud. So, but not like so too much, just a little bit to like show other some other color. So kind of not warms it up a bit, but I can't even, just gives like just feel like it gives it purpose, right? It just gives it, especially with purple and turquoise. Like I have a little bit purple in here, and adding the turquoise for it's kind of sets a little bit of it off. It's nice. Those cool colors just work so good together. I've used them so many times together. So, especially around this cooler area, like brighter areas, sometimes maybe better to use those kind of cool colors within that. So, anyways, we used a little bit. I think that's more than enough, probably. So let's throw some more white in here. I'll emphasize some of this bright sky a little bit. Like a little bit. You want some dark in there too. Some light in there too. And I figured that once we get this foreground, start adding some of this other color in here, we can kind of bring some of our ish colors to the background to the foreground, like slightly. Even some of these reference ones. This bottom one has a little bit of blue off the top of that rock, the big right rock on the side. It's like leaving shadows. Any of the tops of things are kind of getting like cloudy and like blurry a little bit because they have similar colors on top of them, like reflections and things, especially like water and stuff like that. So those things can happen. You want to take all your colors you have and blend them within each other, within the piece to a certain degree, right? So it kind of help to have this continuation, like a cohesive like feel to the piece. It's just keeping everything, yeah. So there's like really weird ring of like light going down, right? So I need to fill that in at some point here. So fill a bunch of that in here. So you want to bring some dark down a little bit. So I feel that we need a little bit dark. It's probably too dark. Yeah, that's pretty dark. We're gonna leave that dark out of it. We might put a little bit back here, but I don't see us using this that much. It's pretty kind of distracting, actually. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. That's no promises, but we'll see what happens. I think what I have here is plenty dark enough. So this is like it was like a turquoise anyways, and I'm not gonna use that. This may take a little bit of work. Really hoping to get this, but the thing is, we haven't even done anything with the foreground yet, and this may just be us looking at the white, and like if we had like a darker thing here to kind of contrast this, say that we had something dark to put in front of this. In this eraser, right? That contrast between the dark and the light will definitely help a lot as we continue with the piece, and then we can kind of adjust things as we go. Sometimes this white part here just really doesn't really help us at all when we're trying to make a sky, right? It's everything is white. That's the problem with white paper, right? So that's why I use like a gray tone paper with my skulls. It tends to help with that problem. By putting a lighter gray down, you're actually, or darker gray down, you're already getting that nice contrast, right? So because you have the dark, like the gray paper or whatever. So I like it in that fact. This is not so much like that. That's why I'm not like overdoing too much of the sky. I'm just gonna kind of like go into it a little bit. I need some dark up here because we will be adding darker colors in the foreground, and the sky will pop once we start adding some of this into the white. So I promise you, I've seen that so many times that I'm like, okay, this sky is not turned the way I want to. It's not getting any depth. What's going on? Well, because I don't have like half the paper not even filled in yet. So don't worry about it too much. We'll get to that other part of it. So we'll get to this other part. But it's kind of like an illusion thing. It's weird. That stuff operate well when you're trying to. So let's add a couple clouds. Now we have some of that filled in. We could probably add a couple clouds or whatever. So let's add a couple of them here. That coming down. I feel like maybe you should have like a bigger cloud up in this left corner. I don't know. Because maybe I should bring it in like that or something. That might be the way I need to go. I don't know, we'll see. But if I hate it, I'll just try and take it out or whatever. But right now, it's not bad. I can keep coming down at an angle. But I don't know, we'll see. I think some of these other ones I just not liking. Like this one's not really pointing to the right area. They're kind of like pointing in the wrong direction right now. So, what I could do is come in here and just take some of this out. Put some darker color around it and point it in the right direction. Let's point it in the right direction here real quick. Let's point this thing. So put some dark area around here. We'll point that in the right direction. A little better. A little better. A little better. I feel like this end of this doesn't need a lot of I don't know. Maybe it doesn't need a lot right there. Cloud up in that corner. Because you got so much in this, it kind of almost balances it out that we have so much on the right side, but not anything on the left side. So maybe what we need is just I saw a spot that needed purple really bad. I feel like it needed some purple. You can add purple to this, like what I'm adding now. Just add purple to these nice clouds, right? Make them nice and fluffy and add like different color to them a little bit, right? I've added purple to many sky pieces before. This is not supposed to be just FF7 world, right? This is kind of my world into FF7 in some way, right? So a little combination of both. So we didn't mean to feel like we got a lot done tonight, but we kind of did, right? We got a bunch of sky done. We'll continue to work on the sky. This may take 4 streams. I hope not. So We may stop after three streams if I don't get it close enough finished, to work on Jenova piece, and then we will, because that'll probably take 1 or 2 streams. So depending, if I'm probably not gonna do a colored piece, I'll probably just end up doing a gray tone. We'll get further with this as the next stream. So next stream may be not till next Thursday, because I have helping with a side job with a buddy. So we will see how it goes. But hope you guys are enjoying this and whatnot. So we'll get back to just chatting. Here we go. So anyways, as you guys can see, it's coming along, and hopefully you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, and we will continue to do this until we finish it. So I may do some stuff with it to get it to hurry it up, to do some things, but also try to catch up with maybe do some work on it this weekend. So anyways, but thank you guys for everything. If you'd be awesome if you guys could like and subscribe. If not, that's okay. I just hope you guys are enjoying the content that I'm putting out. I'm enjoying creating something new, so it's been fun. Anyways, hope you guys have a great night. Chalky Phalanges out. See y'all later.